Good day guys, welcome back to yet another video on the channel. So what we've got today, we've got my 1250 Adventure and we've got Sarab's 1250 GS. As you can see, we've both got some headlight protections on our bike. So I've got a cheap Chinese made headlight protection that seemed to have done the job for me. But as you can see, the screws are starting to rust. And because there's a gap in between, we sometimes get stones and everything hitting in between, and I'm a bit worried that it might compromise the integrity of my headlamp. And as you know, these things cost in excess of $1,500 to replace, and especially with this model which has got the adaptive lighting, that actually costs more. And Sarab has got something similar as well, which is a bolt-on, but again there's a huge gap there which will then allow rocks and so on to come in, and that could actually cause some problems. So what we have done is we actually I got in contact with Steve from ABikeThing, and you may have seen his channel. I'll link it in the description below. So Steve from ABikeThing is based in the UK, and they have actually created the AMOGuard headlight protector for the BMW GS 1250, and this is a rather simple installation. I'll just put this aside for now. And what we get in the box here is the whole AMOGuard. And essentially what happens is you've got the whole assembly here. It's got its own glass at the front, and what we do is we just take this, we bolt out the OEM housing on the headlamps, and then we place this in. And the beauty about this system is it's OEM. It's going to give 100% protection. It's also got a rubber housing at the edges of the housing, so what that will prevent fluid and condensation, so you will know that the lights are going to remain intact. And also with the AMOGuard, you can also choose a number of lenses. So they come by default with the orange lens. So this is the X light. So I've got the X light for my 2023 GSA. Sarab's is the G light. So he's in his box there will be a different lens. But what we are eager to test out today is the mirrored lens. So the mirrored lens is something that will be pretty cool, I think, and we're going to put this up today. So if you're keen to see how we go about with this one, let's do this. Cheers. So at the moment I'm just going to try to remove my existing housing here. This one is a bit tricky to remove because they've got some bolts at the side, so I'm just going to try to get that out, and hopefully that shouldn't be too hard. Alright, so I have managed to remove the bottom housing, so now I'm just going to remove the top bit here, and I've got to look for my OEM screws which I've saved and replace them back. And that's it, it's out, so that's done. And now what we've got is the original housing, so we just need to open the 4 screws on the housing here, and then gently ply open the case from the side, and that should come up quite easily. So in the actual box we get some instructions. Instructions are quite useful. You get the lenses that you have ordered. You also get one of these Torx head screwdrivers, which comes in really handy because these are quite small screws. And you also get a bag of screws, and it also comes with this rubber gasket which needs to go at the bottom, which I'll show you shortly. But for now, let's remove the housing. The good thing with this AMOGuard from ABikeThing is that all the screws that they provide are Torx screws, and they are stainless steel, so they really much maintain the OEM look of the bike. When you buy the cheap stuff from AliExpress, they come with black painted screws, and over time they start to rust, and they also round off pretty quickly, making it really hard for you to remove them in the future. So now that I've removed all the OEM screws. I just want to make sure I keep them in a safe place, so if I need to use them in the future, I can. And now I'm just going to gently pry this open, and at the bottom here there's a bit of a clip which we have to and then it comes off. So there you go, you've removed the OEM housing, and now you can see the light. You've got the original case there and everything else is intact, so the armor guard just goes into. But before that, let's give this a good clean before we mount up the new stuff. Alright, now to give the headlamp a bit of a clean, just with some windscreen cleaner. While I'm at it, just clean the top part. You want to use a microfiber cloth so that it doesn't really scratch the lens on your OEM lights. Alright, so we've got the armor guard and you can see how it's got its protective lens there. What we need to do now, what I want to do is I want to put this mirrored lens. As you can see, it reflects, so this is something I'm really excited about. It doesn't have a protective film by the looks of it on there, and I won't worry too much about smudges just yet. I can clean that later on. Okay, so I have removed the 4 screws. Now what we're going to do is just remove the clear lens. There is 2 clips here which you can just gently clip it, unclip it, and then making sure you don't break the clips because they are a bit fragile. Just gently push it to the side, and then you just, and there, the original clear lens comes out. It's a thick piece of perspex, and you can use this down the road again if you need to. What I want to do is we want to use the, I'm just going to put this out of the way for now. We're going to use the mirrored lens that is provided. Now with the mirrored lens, you can choose to use the colored lens at the back, but for my setup I just want it to be the mirrored lens by itself, and it only goes in one way. So you can see that they've got different shapes of the cutout here, so when you put it in, it only goes in one way. Before we put it in, we just want to give it a quick clean with a microfiber cloth. Good wipe there, and a good wipe here. Probably doesn't really matter on the other side because you can clean it later, more towards the inside that you want to make sure it's clean. And then you place it into the housing and making sure that the clips go in like so, and it clips in, and the screws should technically align. Now because I'm not using the lens, the colored lens, and I'm only using the mirrored lens, so I can reuse back the screws that actually came with it. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do, and just put back the original screws in there and screw it in, remembering that you do not want to over tighten. Just hand tight it. Making sure that you reinsert the washers, which I clearly forgot. Okay, so I've done all of that, and this is how it looks. Pretty neat. It'll be interesting to see how it looks on the bike later on. But now let's move on to Sarab's. Sarab is going to use the lenses, so we'll try to do his as well now. Okay, so now I've put the mirrored lens in for Sarab's, and he's got the G colored lens, so I'm going to put that in now. Again, it only goes in one way, so it goes in this way by the looks of it. Okay, now because Sarab has got the mirrored lens and the colored lens, we will then have to change and use the longer screws for Sarab. So these are the slightly longer screws that are provided, and making sure not to forget the washers as well. Alright, so this is how it looks from the front. You can see the bottom one is with the yellow lens in it and the mirrored lens on the top, and mine on the top is just the mirrored lens. And then now when you flip it in, you can see how it differs here as well. So now it's time to put it on the motorcycle. Okay, so the package comes with this rubber gasket thingy. It needs to go into the gap right here. Can you just bring the camera closer, see if you can see that gap? That gap there. So this just needs to go in there. You probably need to use a plier for that, and I'll just get my plier. So hold the plier and then just gently squeeze it in like so. And then you just push it in. And there you go. So that's a perfect fit in there. And now that that's done, you can go ahead and put on the lens. Before you put it on, just give it one final clean. Wipe this one final time, make sure it's clean. Put the cloth somewhere down, and now you can just place it in there. It should really just clip in quite easily. And then you can reuse back your OEM screws. And yeah, just tight it. Go on opposite sections, so you don't want to put too much pressure on one side. And remembering they're a bit tricky because of the space, so try not to drop the screws. That's in, finger tight for now, and then back in there, finger tight, bottom one there. It's really handy that they provide you with this little screwdriver, makes life easy. And then once that's in, so now you just give it a little bit tight. Don't want to over tighten it because it's plastic, you don't want to break it. So and there you go, that's done. One job done, complete. Alright, now we are all done and it's time for the great reveal. So turning on both the engines, both the lights on, and that's how they start. Starting off with the GSA. You can see once the light starts, the mirror effects disappears. I'm going to play with a bit of a high beam. You can see how that looks like. Pretty cool. And now moving on to the GS. Again, you can see the G light effect with the yellow lens and high beam. Pretty good. So all in all, we are really happy with the whole install and the quality of the product. Steve had thought a lot about this setup. He is included in a screw kit, a screwdriver. So all these little things, actually it's not much, but it actually makes a difference to help you with your installation. What I like most is the rubber gasket and also the gasket across the housing. That actually ensures that the whole mount is waterproof. And all in all, the ease in installation and how OEM it looks, you won't be able to tell that this is an aftermarket part. Now, another good thing is the lenses that we have got. You've seen how thick those lenses are, so it's definitely not going to crack easily. But in the event it does, or it damage or scratch, we can always get a replacement lens rather easily from Steve from ABikeThing. So all in all, there you go guys, simple installation, and I think it's really added to the looks of the GS and the GSA. So if you're interested in this product, I've got the links in the description below, and hopefully you find it as good as we did. See you again guys, thank you, cheers, bye bye.